Hello and welcome. Coming up, powerboat racing from the United States of America.
Welcome to round number 3 of the P1 SuperStock USA Championship Series this week in Morehead City, North Carolina. In our last race in Detroit, Michigan on the historic Gold Cup event, the 103rd running of this event, we had tremendous competition between Oregon Custom Marine, J.D. Byrider, and Miss Madison, with J.D. Byrider running consistently all weekend long, taking several heats, but incredible competition with Miss Madison and Oregon Custom Marine. But Miss Madison, the tribute boat for Madison, Indiana, with Kyle Deason and Paul Gallup, would end up taking overall championship points and the win in Detroit, Michigan. J.D. Byrider in second, Oregon Custom Marine in third, Peters and May in fourth, and K-Way in fifth position. And now off to Morehead City, North Carolina, located on the Atlantic coast, where we'll be racing on the Intercoastal Waterway right in front of the port of Morehead. A city known for its fishing and seafood, this weekend will be home to the P1 SuperStock Series. As we make our way to the start of race number 1 in Morehead City, the boats are all lined up as they get ready to take the green flag, and we have a green flag in race number 1. 8 Panthers on this very short 1.67 mile course. The boats are lined up based on their qualifying positions in Friday's testing. As we go on board number 18. As Ocala Grand Prix gets squeezed, has to move to the inside. As we're on board with Ocala Grand Prix. As he's getting hosed down, making his way around that first right-hand turn. Staying right on the inside line. This is on board with Miss Madison. Kyle Deason and Paul Gallup getting very close to what looks like Oregon Custom Marine on the inside. Mandingo Bay getting very close to Mountain Dew. Jim Arvis in the Mountain Dew boat, Mandingo Bay, with Randy Schluss. Miss Madison goes way wide, sweeping the turn deep as they come across the start-finish line to complete lap 1. And they dive back across the fleet, right across the front of Oregon Custom Marine. You can see how tight these boats are running as they make their way around this 1.67 mile race course. As it looks like Mountain Dew in the lead, Miss Madison in second place, Oregon Custom Marine in third, and now we're over the top of Peters and May. Mountain Dew takes the inside line coming around, but he leaves a lane open, and coming up hard on the inside, Miss Madison with Kyle Deason and Paul Gallup as they pull up right alongside. Mountain Dew carries some extra speed around the outside, but what a great move by Miss Madison on the inside. They are deck to deck down the front straightaway, heading towards the right-hand turn at the end of the port. Oh, they got close enough it looked like they touched. Mountain Dew looks like they bumped right up alongside Miss Madison. As Miss Madison opens up a 2-boat margin over Mountain Dew. On board with Mandingo Bay, Randy Schluss on the throttles. Our second place boat coming around the corner right now. That is Mountain Dew trying to make up some ground on Miss Madison.
Stay tuned for more powerboat racing from North Carolina. Welcome back, and let's return to North Carolina for more powerboat racing.
Miss Madison, our leader. Paul Gallup and Kyle Deason in the Miss Madison boat. They've got themselves clean water and have managed to open up a big lead as we watch Mandingo Bay coming around. But look at this battle. Oregon Custom Marine dives hard to the inside. So does Peters and May. Almost 3 across as they go across the start-finish line. Peters and May took the hard inside line, but Mandingo Bay holds on to the outside edge. As we go back to our leader, Miss Madison, running in clean water and opening up a margin on the rest of the fleet in this first race here in Morehead City, North Carolina. As we look at Jim Arvis in the Mountain Dew boat, running with Mike Sadlin. Jim has a lot of experience in single-engine V-bottoms. As we go back on board Mountain Dew. We go over the top of Ocala Grand Prix. Their first race of the season in their brand new P128 SS Panther. As we go on board Ocala Grand Prix with George DiAriano.
Here's the battle. We got third place, JD Byrider.
Oregon Custom Marine JD Byrider again picking a great line as they go around the turn. Not giving any room to Peters and May, trying to run them down in fourth position. As we're over the top of Ocala Grand Prix, down the front straightaway, back to our leader, Miss Madison. With Kyle Dietzen and Paul Gallup. Once they got to clean water, they never looked back. Obviously had the right setup for the day. As they have a comfortable lead right now in clean water. On board with Miss Madison.
He went a little tighter this turn, but here he comes. All right, Miss Madison, here you go, guys.
As they cross the start-finish line one more time, and you notice the NC Guard on the boat also here in Morehead City. P1 ran a special military race where we had one member of each active duty branch in one of the P128 SS Panthers, and they all went out and ran a 10-lap race, with the Air Force ultimately taking the overall win. Here comes Jack's Waterfront Bar, followed by Ocala Grand Prix, rounding out our fleet.
Final lap right here. Final lap.
As the boats get ready to start their final lap, Mandingo Bay coming around right now. Number 17, that is Randy Schluss. As we look at our leader, this is Miss Madison. As they make their way towards the start-finish line, well out in the lead right now. As they get ready to enter the final sweeping turn here in Morehead City, North Carolina. This is race number 1 of round 3 in the P1 SuperStock USA Championship Series. And Miss Madison takes the checkered flag and the first win here in Morehead City. Kyle Dietzen on the wheel, Paul Gallup on the throttles. And the next boat to cross the start-finish line will be Mountain Dew with Jim Arvis. First time in a P128 SS Panther, but we understand that there has been a penalty leveled. Let's take a look at our results. We had a penalty assessed on Miss Madison for a driving infraction. They are disqualified for this round. Mountain Dew will take the win, followed by JD Byrider in the OCM boat, then Peters and May, Mandingo Bay, U.S. Coast Guard, and Ocala Grand Prix. But the win in race number 1 goes to Jimmy Arvis in Mountain Dew.
We'll be back with more powerboat racing from North Carolina. Hello again. Let's return to North Carolina for more powerboat racing.
Welcome back to Morehead City, North Carolina for round number 3 of the P1 SuperStock USA Championship Series. Eastern North Carolina is home to a number of military installations, and P1 put one active duty military member in each of 5 P1 Panthers and let them have at it on the race course, with the ultimate victory going to the U.S. Air Force. And the boats are lined up for round number 6 here in Morehead City, North Carolina. This is race number 2 in Morehead City. Peters and May gets a bad start again, back at the back of the pack on the extreme outside. Miss Madison, after being disqualified in the first heat, goes to the extreme outside. Peters and May trying to come up in the middle as we go on board. Peters and May with Azam Ali and Kyle Sanborn. Oh, the boats are getting bunched as they go towards turn 1. 3 boats are going to miss turn 1. They all got squeezed over by Miss Madison as they bunch towards the apex. 3 boats got squeezed to the inside, missed the turn at turn 1. As we go on board Miss Madison with Kyle Dietzen and Paul Gallup, as they work their way to the front, but that is going to cost them as they cut the fleet off. Coming up right on their tail is Mountain Dew with Jimmy Arvis and Mike Sadler. We take a look at Peters and May as they're moving up on the inside, and they get past Oregon Custom Marine and JD Byrider. But Miss Madison went way wide. It looked like he was going on the other course. Oh, he cut the whole fleet off again. Came right across the nose of JD Byrider. Pushing across, they went way deep into the turn like they were going for the long course. And then squared the turn off coming across the fleet. As the rest of the fleet making their way around the inside edge of the race course, Peters and May now going to be running in 3rd place. Miss Madison surely facing a penalty for 2 driving infractions on the course in this heat. JD Byrider on the outside. Miss Madison gets by him one more time as they approach the start-finish line. Just ahead of them is Mountain Dew with Jimmy Arvis. He will be your new leader. Peters and May in 2nd place. JD Byrider with the father and son team of Mark and Cody Kowalski. As the checkered flag is out, Miss Madison will come across and get the checkered flag, but Miss Madison is going to get a penalty again for 2 driving infractions. Let's go to our results for this round. JD Byrider still had a substitution from the previous race, so their points will go to Oregon Custom Marine. So your top 3 are going to be Mountain Dew, followed by Peters and May, and then Oregon Custom Marine here in round number 6. The boats all line up for the start in the final race here in Morehead City, and we have a green flag. Off to a great jump in the center is JD Byrider with Mark and Cody Kowalski. As we go on board and we watch them pull away, Mountain Dew on the inside, Mandingo Bay on the outside, Miss Madison right alongside them as a 3-way battle for 2nd place. But JD Byrider out in front. Miss Madison tries to come across, squeezes just a little bit on Mandingo Bay. Those 3 boats very tight. Mountain Dew on the inside, Mandingo Bay in the middle, Miss Madison on the outside. As the fleet makes their way around turn 1, Peters and May has got back up into the fray. They are currently in 4th position. Oh, it looks like Mandingo Bay missed a turn. They jumped to the inside. They were getting squeezed by the fleet as they went around the last turn. JD Byrider has clean water. He is out in the lead. Now, Mandingo Bay looks like they're in 2nd place, but they missed that turn. As we look over the top of Miss Madison, Mountain Dew followed by Mandingo Bay. There's Peters and May. Oregon Custom Marine, as all of the boats within a second of each other as they cross the start-finish line, finishing lap number 1. And we go on board JD Byrider. They are out in the lead in clean water. Miss Madison running in 2nd position as we go on board Mandingo Bay. Mandingo Bay jumps right through the wake of what looks like Mountain Dew directly in front of them. Miss Madison coming around currently in 2nd position overall in this heat. Miss Madison with Kyle Dietzen and Paul Gallup currently in 2nd position. On the front straightaway in Morehead City. And we go back to the start-finish line as Oregon Custom Marine, chased by Peters and May, make their way around. Next will be Ocala Grand Prix with George Ariano. That's George Ariano and John Hansen from Ocala, Florida. Morehead City is their first race in the P128 SS Panther. George on the throttles on the left side. John on the right on the wheel. As we go over the top of Mandingo Bay. Currently showing in second position. But our leader, J.D. Byrider, with the father and son team of Mark and Cody Kowalski. Had a problem with some fuel in the first race, so they substituted boats with Oregon Custom Marine. As we go on board J.D. Byrider, and you see the distance that they've opened up on second place with that clean water. Our next boat is Mountain Dew as they make their way around the north end of the race course. Jimmy Jarvis, after taking the win in the first race here in Morehead City.
Stick around for more powerboat racing from North Carolina. Welcome back, and let's return to North Carolina for more powerboat racing.
J.D. Byrider sweeping the turn. You see the difference when they get a little bit of clean water as they just slice the turn once they get lined up. Great line by J.D. Byrider. As we go back on board Miss Madison. Kyle Dietzen and Paul Gallup. As Kyle looking over his shoulder to see where the competition is. Over the top of Mandingo Bay and Peters and May. We saw Peters and May jump back to the inside again as we go back to Miss Madison. Peters and May with Azam Ali and Kyle Sanborn. Got a little bit loose right over the top of that wake as he's trying to run down Mandingo Bay. Coming up to the inside, he makes up a couple of boat lengths. He's almost side by side. Looking back at Ocala Grand Prix, John Hansen and George Ariano. All of these P128 SS Panthers powered by the same identical engine. An Evinrude E-Tech 250 HO as we go on board Ocala Grand Prix. J.D. Byrider continues to lead, making beautiful turns at the start-finish line turn. Right along the front straightaway in the port of Morehead City. Over the top of the father and son team, Mark and Cody Kowalski with J.D. Byrider. Out of Ohio, Mountain Dew, Jimmy Jarvis, making his way around. He is in the points lead overall here for the Morehead City event. Picks another great line as he goes around as we go back to Miss Madison with Kyle Dietzen and Paul Gallup. J.D. Byrider continuing to lead. Clean water makes a lot of difference when these guys get into it. They can pick their line as we go back on board Peters and May. They dive to the inside of Mandingo Bay. It looks like they got him that time. As they make their way to the start-finish line, they're now going to square off on the inside. They push Mandingo Bay wide. And they pick up a position. Peters and May gets ahead of Mandingo Bay right at the start-finish line. Peters and May has the inside lane as they make their way down the front straightaway. And they hold the line as they get to the edge of the port. A sweeping right-hander as we go back on board Mandingo Bay. Randy Schluss trying to make up the ground he lost. Azam Ali picks a great line. Mandingo Bay dives to the inside, trying to make up distance, and it doesn't work. Peters and May opens up the margin as they head towards the one left-hand turn on the race course. Peters and May with Azam Ali and Kyle Sanborn move up a position. As Peters and May has now moved themselves into fifth position, we look at Miss Madison, currently running in third. J.D. Byrider in the lead. Second place is Mountain Dew. Miss Madison also running for the North Carolina National Guard this weekend here in Morehead City, North Carolina, as we go back on board Miss Madison. That's over the top of Ocala Grand Prix with George Ariano and John Hansen. John sweeps a nice wide line. Makes up a little bit of ground on the boat on the inside, squaring the turns off. He dives to the inside. That boat to the inside should be Mandingo Bay. As Hansen and Ariano, we go on board with them, trying to run down Mandingo Bay. This time John takes the inside line but sweeps wide as he goes through the turn. Oh, he tried to go to the inside. Mandingo Bay didn't give him a line. He had to go back to the outside. Great racing action happening back here. This is for 6th and 7th positions. Again, they both slide around the turns. As we see Mandingo Bay squeeze Ocala Grand Prix just a little bit. Randy Schluss and Mandingo Bay. Hansen and Ariano in Ocala Grand Prix as we go back to our leader, J.D. Byrider, with the father and son team, Mark and Cody Kowalski. And they will take the checkered flag. J.D. Byrider with Mark and Cody Kowalski take the win. Second place will go to Miss Madison. That is Paul Gallup and Kyle Dietzen as they make their way around the start-finish line, taking second place. The checkered flag out on the pace boat. Right now, Mountain Dew swings wide. Coming hard to the inside is Peters and May trying to make a move. Almost got up inside. Slid just a little bit too much, and third place is going to go to Mountain Dew. Fourth place goes to Peters and May. As we look at our race results from round number 7, J.D. Byrider takes the win. Miss Madison gets second place. Mountain Dew in third. Peters and May in fourth. Mandingo Bay, then Ocala Grand Prix, Oregon Custom Marine, and the U.S. Coast Guard. That'll do it for us here in Morehead City, North Carolina. 3 races to go as we head to San Diego, California for the finals to determine who will be the 2011 P1 SuperStock USA National Champion.
That's all for now, but join us again next time for more top-class motorsport entertainment.